Welcome back to Politics Nation. As the Israel-Hamas war moves into its fourth week, huge crowds gathered in Washington, D.C. yesterday to call for a ceasefire. The conflict has shaken America's Jewish and Muslim communities. Earlier in the show, we heard from Jonathan Greenblatt, the head of the Anti-Defamation League. Joining me now is Nihad Awad, Executive Director of the Council on American Islamic Relations. Thank you for being with me tonight. Mr. Awad, let me start with this. This past Wednesday during a campaign speech, President Biden said there should be a humanitarian pause in the Israel-Hamas war. And as we mentioned earlier on the show, the Biden administration has laid out a new national strategy to combat Islamophobia. Meanwhile, Arab American support for the president has plummeted to just 17% in a new poll released by the Arab American Institute. What are your thoughts on how the Biden administration has been handling this war? And what are your thoughts about how we can stop innocent civilians from being killed in the Gaza as we deployed it in Israel?
Thank you so much, Reverend. It's good to see you again. And what's happening today in Gaza is a continuation of the Israeli bombardment of captive civilians, 2.3 million, in a small area which has been known, identified by so many people around the world and leaders and human rights activists and politicians, that it is the largest open-air prison on earth. And most of these people there are refugees themselves, 80% of them. And Israel has been mercilessly attacking civilian population, schools, hospitals, churches, mosques. And our government, the U.S. government, is supplying, arming, weaponizing, defending, justifying every action Israel does. So it's been done in our names as Americans, with our taxpayers' money, with our weapons, against a defenseless civilian population. And let me say it, this is not a Hamas war, Israel-Hamas war. It is an Israeli war on the Palestinians that started 75 years ago. The plight of the Palestinians have been dismissed, fell on deaf ears, including our government and our elected officials. Unfortunately, the media has been used as a cover-up, dehumanizing the Palestinians, minimizing their suffering, along with the president himself, who repeatedly said the Israeli talking points and propaganda. That helped dehumanize the Palestinians and remove any sympathy to what's happening to the Palestinians in the minds of so many people, except in the past few days, the human tragedy, the fact that the Palestinians are dying in the hundreds every day, and mostly children and women who are not Hamas, who are not fighting, started to pressure and force people to think, what in the world are we doing? Why are we allowing our government and the state of Israel to commit these atrocities against the innocent people? So I myself, I am a Palestinian, I'm a refugee. My land and my home was stolen from us, and we were ethnically cleansed.
Let me push you right there. Let me push you right on the point of people now, because I'm outraged looking at children being killed, as I was on October 7th, what happened in Israel. In fact, in an interview posted yesterday, former President Barack Obama reflected on the war. Take a listen to this.
You can speak one side of the truth, and in some cases you can try to maintain your moral innocence, but that won't solve the problem. And so if you want to solve the problem, then you have to take in the whole truth. And you then have to admit nobody's hands are clean, that all of us are complicit to some degree.
What's your reaction to what President Obama had to say?
I mean, he's speaking the truth. We have been told lies for ages. Even young Jewish Americans are telling, many of them are telling their leaders, you lied to us. You lied to us about what Israel is and what Israel is doing. So the growing number of Jewish Americans identify that the state of Israel is an apartheid system, and they will not support it. Yesterday, I was at this historic rally in support of the Palestinian people. I saw so many rabbis, so many Jewish colleagues who believe that there should be a ceasefire and Israel should not get away literally with murder.
Let me ask this. Do you feel that there's any way to influence Hamas in releasing the hostages? Because I heard said even on the show tonight, if they release the hostages, that Israel will agree to a ceasefire. Is there a way that you see that happening?
Well, none of us speak for Gaza and those who are fighting on behalf of the Palestinians. But let me say this. Israel holds 8,000 hostages. They have taken 1,000 hostage in the past weeks from Gaza and from the West Bank. There is no Hamas in Gaza, Reverend. And Israel has been killing Palestinians left and right. Israel has unleashed armed settlers to confiscate Palestinian homes and kick them from their homes because they're not Jewish, burning their farms, intimidating them. The state of Israel has many children in jail and many women that have been giving birth.
But the 200 some odd hostages is what I'm addressing. But I hear where you have expanded it. I'm just trying to see how we stop the killing on both sides. Nihad.
I think an immediate ceasefire. The United States has the power, has the leverage, and has the responsibility and moral duty on behalf of all of us Americans. 66% of Americans believe that the United States should call for a ceasefire.
Yeah.
Why is our administration and our elected officials not heeding the call? So if there's a ceasefire, definitely, and withdrawal from Gaza, definitely hostage exchange and prisoner exchange should be there, and true peace talks based on justice, not only the interests of the state of Israel, can lead us to a much better situation.
All right. I'm going to have to leave it there. Good to see you again, Nihad Awad. Thank you for being on. Up next.